This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good evening everyone. So in the last class, we understood how to write a class, how to declare the class members. So what are the different types of class members we have? Like we have a static members, we have a non-static members. That is the instance members. We understood how to access the static members and we understood how to access the non-static members. So today we shall understand what is a difference between a local variable and a global variable. Okay, what is the difference between a local variable and global variable and how to access them? Clear? Let us write a class and class has one name. Now let me have one variable int a, int b, int r. Okay, so I have written three different variables a, b, and I, and I will make b as static. Okay, when it comes to variables, we have two different types of variables. One is local variables, another one is global variables. Local variables and global variables. Okay, so in the global variables, we have two types: static variables and non-static variables. Okay, so in the variables, we have two types of variables. They are local variable and global variable. In the local variable, in the global variable, we have two types again, static variables and non-static variables. Now let us understand what are what. Okay, so any variable declared inside the method are called as local variables. So I is a local variable. Any variable declared outside the method, any variable declared outside the method are global variables. A and B are the global variables. Any global variable declared with the static keyword is a static variable. It is B. Any global variable declared without the static keyword are non-static variable. There, that is A. So again I repeat, any variable declared inside the method are local variables. Any variable declared outside the method, that is inside the class but outside the method, are called as global variables. So in the global variables, we have two types, static variable and non-static variable. Clear? Remember one thing, local variable can never be declared as static. You can't declare a local variable as static. Only global variables can be static. Clear? Understood? Any doubt on this? Now, int I is equals to 5. I'm just declaring a value as well. Now I'll tell void m int x is equals to 2. Then I'll tell system.out.println I system.out.println x. Then I will tell one more method void p. Int y is equals to 9. System.out.println I system.out.println x system.out.println y. Now let me check it. So int x is equals to 2. So here, who is the global variable? Global is I. Who is local variable? X and y. X and y are the local variables. I is a global variable. The local variable scope is only within the declared scope. Okay, where it has been declared, it is available only inside that scope. For example, the local variable x is available only within the method m. It is not accessible outside what? M. That means this line of the code won't compile. Why? Because it will ask what is x. I don't know what is x because x is local to method m and it is visible only within m. I, yes, it is visible here. X, it is visible here. Why? Because X is declared within that method only. You can use it inside that method. But X, you can't use it here. Why? Because X is not visible to the method P. Why? Because X is a variable which is declared method M and which is visible only within method M. It is not visible outside the method M. Here I is visible. Yes, why? Because I is a global variable. It is visible throughout the class. And y is also visible. Why? Because y is declared within this method. So hence y is also visible within this method. But x, no. Similarly, you can't access y inside the method m. Why? Because y is a local variable which is declared inside method p and its scope is only within p, not outside the p. Understood the scope of the variable? Similarly, static also. Static, if you declare, it is visible throughout the class. Okay. Anyways, local variable cannot be declared as static. Okay. Any variable declared inside the method are called as what? Local variables, and those variables are visible only within that declared scope. They are not visible outside the declared scope. Declared scope means this braces. Okay, whatever the braces we have taken, the flower brackets, that is the declared scope. Clear? Understood, everyone? Do you have any doubt on this, guys? Okay, so now have a method P declare variable one. See, the variable I is accessible. The variable Y is accessible. See? So now it is showing us the compile time error telling that boss, what is X? X cannot be resolved to a variable. Why? Because X is a local variable and it is visible only within method M, and you are trying to access it within method P, which is completely a nonsense. Completely a nonsense. Why? Because a local variable can never be accessed outside the declared scope. Okay, if you declare any variable inside a method, that variable is accessible only within that method. It is not visible outside that method. Okay, any variable declared inside the method are visible or accessible only within that method. Clear, everyone? Do you have any doubt on this?
Um, Vikas, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, tell me.
No, I'm just like confused between local and global because they both sound same. So now that you're writing, I'm able to follow.
So local variable, global variable with respect to writing wise, they don't make any difference. All are variables only.
Mm-hmm.
Any variable, if you declare it inside the method,
Mm-hmm.
clear, that is a local variable.
Okay.
Any variable you declare outside the method,
Mhm.
clear, they are global variables.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the global variables are available to everyone, but the local variables are visible only within the declared scope. So now what you did, you declared one variable where inside the method M.
Mm-hmm.
That means this variable is visible only within method M. That variable is not visible outside the method M. Why? Because you have declared it inside the method M. If you want this X to be visible to everyone, then make it global. How to make it global? Declare it outside the method. You remove it from here and you declare it outside the method. Now it becomes global. Now X is also global variable, I is also global variable. But if you remove X from here and declare it here, then X becomes local. Local to what? Method M.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you say local LOCAL?
Sorry. Come again.
Did you say local LOCAL?
Yes,
Okay, so int x is available inside the m variable because it is local.
yes. M
Okay,
method.
okay, got it, got it. Mm-hmm.
Variable Y is visible only inside method P. Why? Because it is declared inside P.
Okay. And I is available everywhere, like local and global, basically.
Yes, I is visible throughout the class.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, yeah.
Any other doubt, guys? Anyways, the class what I am sending you now won't compile, but you can just keep for your reference. Okay. Now the class Apple unit cost. Now what I do, I create a Apple object and I will call the eat method. Yes. So cost got initialized to 10. Local variable can never be accessed outside that method. Means you can't tell a dot size is equals to 2. It won't work. Okay, local variables are not visible outside the method and you can't access them outside the method. Clear? Local variables cannot be accessed from outside that method. From outside the declared scope, I will make it. Okay, size is a local variable which is declared inside the method. So it is not visible outside that method for any worst case. Clear? For any worst case. It is your responsibility to assign a value here itself, okay, and print it there only, wherever you want. You can't declare them, sorry, you can't access them outside the method. Here, any local variable can be accessed only within the declared scope. They can never be accessed outside the declared scope. Clear? So that is the speciality of local and the global variable. Any questions, guys?
So if I want to print the size, where should I write it? Can I?
Here only. No,
Okay.
you
Okay.
can't access anywhere outside. It has to be accessed here only.
Okay.
Clear? You can't do this outside this method. You can't do it here. It will ask what is size. I don't know what is size. Clear? It
Okay.
has to be accessed only within the declared scope. Local variables are accessible only within the declared scope. They are not accessible outside the declared scope.
Okay.
Sir, can you run this program for me, please?
It won't run. Why? Because you are getting a compile type error.
Okay.
Okay, so remove this, then you can run.
Okay.
Okay, you
And
can.
so why are we assigning a value, um, in main method and then
If you want, you can assign here also. Cost is equals to 10. You can do that. You can remove it from here.
but
That's
it
left to you. Wherever you want to access, assign a value.
okay.
But for size, it is mandatory. You have to assign here only because you can't access them outside the method.
Okay, got it.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we understood what are local variables, what are global variables. So from where we can access the local variables, from where we can access the global variables. Clear? Now, int cost void m system.out.println cost. I'll print the cost value and see what will be the output now. Okay, now let me run this. Cost is 0. Am I assigning a 0 to cost variable anywhere? No. But is it getting 0? Yes. Who assigned it? Compiler assigned the default value to this variable. Okay. Compiler will assign a default value to global variables when user don't assign any value to it. Okay. Compiler will assign what? Default value to whom? Only global variables when user does not assign any value to it. For example, now if I assign a value to cost, okay, compiler will not assign a default value. It will give whatever the value we have assigned. But if we don't assign any value to a global variable, compiler will assign a default value to it. Okay, we have a variables, sorry, data types, byte, short, int, float, double, char, boolean. Byte short int, the default value is 0. Float and double, the default value is 0.0. For char, the default value is 1 space. Okay. Boolean, the default value is false. Okay, so what is a default value? It is a value assigned to a global variable whenever the user does not assign any value to those variables. Okay, for non-primitives, the default value is null. Okay, understood? So what is default value? Default value is a value given by the compiler to the global variables when they are not assigned with any value. When they are not assigned with any value. Double size string name. Okay, just for our understanding, I will print all of them. So now let me run it. See, double, the default value is what? 0.0. String. String is a non-primitive data type. For all non-primitives, the default value is what? Null. Clear? Default value will be assigned to a global variables if they are not assigned with any value. Assigned with the global variables compiler if they are not assigned with any value. Clear? Default value will be assigned to a global variables by compiler if they are not assigned with any value. Okay? Guys, do you have any question or any confusion here?
Hi, Vikas.
Yeah.
Even for local variable also
No,
default value will
no,
be as
no, it won't be. That I'll come next example, but yeah, it won't. No, compiler does not assign a default value to local variables. Clear? Any other question, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
So wherever this ball be a new ball, why doesn't the compiler doesn't care about that part?
Doesn't care about?
This part, like under public static void main, why does the compiler doesn't care about that section?
This is object creation. Where are you assigning a value?
In the sorry, in the
We are not
class.
assigning. Sorry?
And, I mean, we are assigning the values in class method.
No, we are not assigning any value, right? Assignment. See, assigning a value means like this. A is equals to 5. This is assigning.
Yes, yes,
If you just tell int A, this is not assigning, it is declaring.
yes, yes, yeah. Okay.
Okay, where are we assigning a value here?
Mm-hmm.
We are not assigning a value anywhere.
Okay.
Assigning means like this b dot Cost is equals to 20. This is assigning. Now we have assigned a value. So compiler will not give a default value.
Okay.
If you don't assign, then only compiler will give a default value.
Mhm.
Here, assignment is different, guys. Assignment means giving a value to a variable is called as assigning. Declaring means just declaring it like this. Here we have declared, we have not assigned any value. Assigning means you are putting some value to that variable.
Mhm. Okay. And so, what do you call this section as, under public static void main?
This is another method. That's it. This
So,
is what you are doing. You are creating. How do you access the members present inside the class?
using main method.
No, by creating the object.
okay.
Right? So first you are creating the object. With that object, you are accessing the members present inside the class.
Mhm.
Yes or no? That is what we have understood in our previous classes. Right? So if you want to access the members present inside the class, first you create the object.
Mhm.
So after creating the object, you are accessing the member. M
Mhm.
is a member present inside the ball class. So to
Mhm.
access M, we have to create the ball object and
Mhm.
then you are calling the method M.
Mhm. Yeah.
Clear everyone?
Yeah.
Because I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Here, int cost, double size, string name.
Yes.
Those are local variables, right?
No, global.
Global variables, sorry. Global variables.
Yes.
And
Yes.
inside void m, this is a method, and those are local variables. Or we are using global variables here. I'm confused. Like you said, inside the method we are writing local
Correct.
variables,
Here,
and
if you
outside method, so this we are using same variables: cost, size, and name. So in this, which are local and which are global?
no, where are you declaring the variable cost? Inside
No,
the method or outside the method?
we should it inside outside the method only where we have variable. Like for global variable, we should
Correct.
declare there
So we are
only.
declaring the variable outside the method, right?
Right.
So that means it is global only. You can use it wherever you want. This is using, not declaring.
Okay.
Cost is used here. It is not declared here.
Oh, okay. 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 Clear. We are using
Great.
the global
So,
variables.
yes. So long back only we have understood, right? What is meant by declaration?
Yeah.
Declaration means what? Data type, variable, name. This is declaration. Variable name is equals to value. This is initialization, right? This is what? Declaration. This is what? Initialization. Right? So where are you? What are you doing here? You are declaring it. So where are you declaring? Outside the method. That means it is global. If you declare it inside the method, then it is local. Clear?
Yep. Clear.
Okay. Okay, now what I will do, I will create the object of cat. Now let me run it. Age is equals to 0. Why? Because age we are not assigning a value. Now what I do, I will try to print the size. See, it is not going to compile. Why? Because size is a local variable. Okay, compiler don't assign a default value to local variables. Compiler don't assign a default value to local variables. Compiler don't assign a default value to local variables. Clear? User has to assign the value to local variables before the use. Compiler don't assign a default value to local variables. User has to assign a value to local variables before the use. Before the use means, see, this is where you are not using a local variable anywhere. You are just declaring no issue, no problem. But if you are trying to use it, see here you are using it to print the value, so then it won't compile. So at that time you have to assign a value. It is your responsibility. Compiler assign a default value to local variables. So user has to assign a value to a local variables before the use. Clear, guys? Any confusion on this? So now you understood who will take a default value and who will not take a default value. Local variables won't take a default value, whereas global variables will take a default value. Understood what is meant by a local variable and what is meant by a global variable. Clear, everyone? Any doubt on this? Okay. So now let me write one class. Well, there is one variable cost. There is one method called as write. Now someone will tell you, hey, call a write method. Call a write method. What you should do first, whenever you want to access any member present inside the class, then you have to create the object. There is no way you can access them directly. So create the object. How to create the object? New pen. Then to hold this object, take a variable of type pen. Then you can tell p dot write. Understood? Whenever you want to access any member present inside the class, you have to create the object. How to create the object? Using new keyword, new pen. Then to store a object, you need a variable. Variable of type what? That class type. So pen object you are creating, so pen type variable you need. Then you can access all the members present inside it. Directly you can't access it. Clear? And one more
But
thing, guys, I tell. Yeah, yeah.
but if those are static or static member, it can be
Static
accessed
means
with.
then you can access directly using class name. Good. Yes. If they are static members, you can access directly using class name. But these are non-static members. Hence, you need to access them only after creating the object. But without object, you can't access them. Clear, everyone? And one more thing I tell you guys. So please practice everyday session, everyday topic on that day itself. Don't think that, okay, this is only this much, let me read it tomorrow, let me understand it tomorrow. Like that, you will do, okay, and then you will feel difficult when we are proceeding further. Clear? Because we have understood why we should create the object already previously only. Right, and how to access the members. Today, your topic should be understanding local variable and global variable, not about why we are creating an object. Clear? Understood? You should not think why are we creating object. You should understand today only how to access a local variable and global variable, because why we need to create an object is a topic already understood. Okay, you should not think about why are we creating object now. Clear? So please be aware of such things, guys. So please practice before. Clear? Please practice before. Before in the sense like all the topics whatever has done, like that you should be thorough with. Clear? Today you should concentrate only on the new things what we are learning, not the previous one.
Hey Bikash,
Yeah.
I got a quick question because sometimes
Yes.
I'm having issues with the semicolons that we need to use.
Correct.
And is there any specific rules on you need to use the semicolons or any should not use? Because I
Yes.
see that if I misuse the
Semicolons should be used only for ending the statements. Only for ending the statements. We should not put a semicolon for the methods, loops, condition statements, and for the classes. Okay, similarly, there are constructors. For that also, you should not put a semicolon. Semicolon should be used only for the statements. Here,
not
this is a statement. So you should use a semicolon. This is a statement. You should use a semicolon. This is a method. You should not use it. Clear? Or if you are using any if statement, then you should not use a semicolon. Okay, so no semicolon to this. Clear? Even if you put semicolon, it won't compile.
okay.
Okay, so don't put a semicolon.
Can you go back to the note, please? I'm just trying to write it down. Method, loop, conditional statement, and class should not
Yes,
have
no
the
semicolon.
no semicolon. Statement
Yes,
should have. Okay. Because I see that when I'm misusing it, like I'm getting the wrong answers.
correct. You will get an error. And sometimes you will get a wrong output also if you put a semicolon. Hope you
Yeah.
had shared one of the examples that day, right? Like where you are putting a semicolon for if.
Yeah, sometimes it's compiler wasn't
Sometimes.
approving it, but sometimes it's compiler doesn't say anything, but I'm getting the wrong output.
Correct,
So that's the
correct.
reason. Thank you.
Understood everyone? Local variable, global variable, and we also understood what are the rules applied to local variable and global variable. Any confusion or any question, guys, for any one of you? Okay. So now let me take one class. Int I void m. So we have a class A, and now we have one more class B. So there is one requirement now. What are all the things present in class A need to be written even in class B, or what are all the things present in class A is required for class B as well. So now what you can do? You can write it like what? Int I void m in class B again, right? Yeah, you can do this. Instead of doing this, we have one more way. What we can do is we can inherit the class A to class B. We can tell extends A. Do you know what will happen now? All the members of class A will get inherited to class B. How can we do that? By using extends keyword. If you want to have the members of one class into another class, what we can do? One thing, we can rewrite the code again, which is the worst thing. Otherwise, we can inherit that class. How to inherit that class? By using extends keyword. Okay. Class pen into cost void right. Okay, now let me have one more class. Class marker. Now, I want the members of pen to come inside the marker as well. So what I do? I will tell marker extends pen. Marker extends pen. So now I want one more method. I will tell void color. Void color. So now what I do? Look carefully now. I will create the pen object. So pen object gets created. All the members present inside the pen will load into object. Cost and write. Store it. I will take one variable of type pen. Now what I do, I will create the marker object. Now see what is the magic going to happen. Marker object going to be created, but marker extends what? Pen. So compiler will go to pen and load all the pen members into marker object first. Cost and write. Okay. So then it comes back to marker and loads all the members present inside the marker. Who are the members present inside the marker? color. So now to store this object, take a variable of type marker. Clear? See now, marker is having all the members of pen and marker, whereas pen is having only the members of pen. Why does the marker is having the members of pen as well? Why? Because marker is inheriting pen class. Marker is inheriting pen class. Whenever a class inherits another class, the other class members get derived into that respective class. Get derived into that respective class. Okay. Class pen class marker extends what? Pen. Extends what? Pen. So we tell pen as a parent class and marker as the child class. Okay? So pen is like a father and marker is like a child. Okay? So, for example, let us take ourselves. We are inheriting the properties of our parents. Yes or no? So, my father had a home, so that home gets derived to me. Yes or no? Right? So, the same relationship. Inheritance. A class deriving the properties of another class is called as inheritance. Clear? So, pen is called as a parent class, marker is called as a child class. So this class is also called as derived class, and this class is also called as deriving class. Okay, so pen is what? Parent class, and it is also called as what? Derived class. Marker is what? A child class. It is also called as what? Deriving class. Understood everyone? What is meant by a parent class and what is meant by a child class? Any doubt on this, guys? Okay. Now let me have one more class. Class var void move. So now I will have one more class. Class bus. Then I will have void sound. So now if you create the van object, the van object gets created and move method gets loaded to it. Similarly, if you create the bus object, is the bus class extending anything? No, it is not extending anything. So only sound method gets loaded. Why the move method is not getting loaded to bus class or a bus object? Why? Because bus is not extending van. If bus extends van, then only the members gets inherited. Okay, if bus don't extend anything, then none of the members gets inherited to bus class. Clear? So now if you want to have the members of van inside the bus, so what you should do? class bus extends van. Okay, new van. If you do, the van members will be loaded into this object. But when we do new bus, is the bus extending anything? Yes, it is extending van. So van members also will be loaded into my object. Please move. Along with that, bus members also will load into my object. To hold this variable, I will take variable of type bus. Take variable of type van. Clear? Any doubt on this, guys? Understood how to derive the members of one class into another class. How is it possible? It's possible using extends keyword.
Um, can I ask one silly question?
Yeah, sure.
So can van also extend bus if I want
Uh,
sound inside van?
Good question. Okay, I'll come for that tomorrow.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It's
Okay.
not silly. It's a good
It's
question
Oh,
actually.
it's my question as well.
Yeah. I'll come for that tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
It's very simple. I can tell you even now. Okay. So bus is inheriting what? Van. So if van starts inheriting bus, what bus is doing? Bus is inheriting van. So again, it goes and tries to inherit van. But what van is doing? Van is again inheriting bus. Okay, so it starts inheriting bus. But what bus is doing? Again, it is inheriting van. So it's become a
Loop.
infinite recursion.
oh.
Okay, so the both people keep on inheriting everyone. They are not doing any other task. It is a van is telling, hey van, I'm inheriting you. Okay, to the bus. Bus tells, hey van, I'm inheriting you. That loop continues. Keep on, both of them keep on inheriting again and again.
But
Okay,
if you take off the extends from the bus, then it should
then
stop,
it's
right?
fine. Then it's fine. Then it's fine. So
Okay.
instead of you telling a bus extending van, if you do like this, bus is extended by van. This is fine.
Is there any issue with the order? Like if I put the like extend
No. Java is architectural neutral. Okay, Java never tells, hey, Macha, this should be first and that should be next, second. No, Java never tells like that.
is
Java
it
is
case sensitive?
architectural neutral. Sorry?
Is Java case sensitive as well?
Yes, Java is case sensitive, but not architectural. It's
Okay.
architectural neutral.
No, but how am I getting the sound feature in van?
Why? Because where are we getting van? Sound feature won't get to
Bus
van.
bus has the sound feature as well as move feature, but how
Correct.
can I get sound in van?
No, it's not possible.
Oh, okay.
You can't do that.
So removing extend from the bus, if you put next to the uh, mob extend bus, will not be
No,
working.
only a class can extend. A method can never extend.
No, if van extends bus,
Yeah.
can
Remove
it get
this.
sound?
Bus extends van. Yes. Of course. See, now what happened? Van members are copied into bus. Why? Because bus is extending van.
Correct.
If you don't want to do this and you want bus members to be copied to van, then
Yeah.
remove extends van from the bus and keep extends bus with van. Then it works. Means you can do like this. You can tell class van extends bus class bus. Again in bus don't tell extends van. Of course, that is not good. Okay.
Okay, now it's clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Clear. So whichever the class you want to extend, you can just go ahead and extend. Now what happened? Van became a child, bus became a parent. So
Yeah.
in our previous example, van was a parent and bus was a child. So now what happened? It became vice versa. Now in this example, so in the other example, I can take example 2. This is example 1. So in example 1, who is the parent? Van is the parent. And who is the child? Bus is the child. In example 2, bus is a parent, van is a child. Just like that.
Yeah. So the child will always have more members than parent.
If it extends parent, yes, of course.
Okay.
And child has its members. If child is having 0 members, then again it remains the same. Yeah, of course. According to you, yes, it
Okay.
is true.
Okay.
Clear, everyone? Any other doubts or questions, guys?
Not for today.
Yeah, good. So, anyways, practice it, guys. Okay. So we shall catch up tomorrow. Okay. If you have any doubts, let me know. I will clear it to you. Okay. See you tomorrow. Practice before you sleep.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.